Preach the gospel, and when necessary, use words. Preach the gospel, and when necessary, use words. This quote is attributed to St. Francis of Assisi, and I love this quote. I was thinking about what we need to do as people of faith, and how do we preach the gospel. One of the things that we talked about yesterday in worship was that sometimes we have to silence those should haves and could haves in our lives when the voices inside ourselves or outside of us say, you should do this and you should do that, or what about this and why not that, and you could have this. And so one of the ways that that is silenced is particularly in the Bible. One of the things Kathy pointed out when she prayed for communion was that the Mary Martha story. That is full of should has and could has. You should be sitting down, or you should be in the kitchen. My sister should be helping me. But Jesus says, no, you should be listening. And, Peter is caught up, the story we talked about yesterday in Acts, Peter's caught up with the I should be eating this way, or I should be following these rules, or I should not be talking to the Gentiles, or I should not be doing this. But the angel that sent for Peter and the message and the dream that Peter had said, and it was something that Peter couldn't ignore. So he silenced those should haves and could haves, and he did as the vision told him, and he went and preached the gospel, and so many Gentiles were then converted and baptized. So I wonder how many times we let our words get in the way. Sometimes we need to listen. So I want to look at a couple of things today. There's a great quote from the play Hamilton. You've heard Jason and I use that before a lot. Our family loves that musical that came out a few years ago. And one of the songs, Aaron Burr, who is a mentor, and Alexander Hamilton really looks up to him, and they're meeting for the first time, and Alexander Hamilton is just so excited, and he's going on and on and on and on, and we're using all sorts of words. And Aaron Burr says, here's my advice: talk less, smile more. Talk less, smile more. And so I wonder if we can take to heart some of that for ourselves a little bit. I was looking at the 1 Corinthians 13 passage this morning, and I'm going to read for you beginning in verse 4. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on our own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to the childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I only know in part, then I know fully, even as I have fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love. So here's what I'm wondering. Yesterday we talked about a way to silence these shoulds and coulds is to really reach out and love. So instead of offering you should do this and you could do that, what if we really loved someone? So now I want to look at what it looks like to love someone in that situation. So I've wondered what love is patient means. Maybe going and sitting by someone's bed, not having words necessarily, but being present with them in a time of need. I've wondered what love is kind means. I wonder if it's listening to someone's story, listening to someone's hurt and not trying to fix it, simply listening. Sometimes our fixing and our words to fix can get in the way. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant. I wonder if that means I have enough, so I'm going to share what I have in excess. Or I have food, so I'm going to go and make sure that those at the food pantry get food. Or I am loved, so I want to make sure someone else feels that too. Maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe I can't fix it, but maybe I can listen and not listen to only the person who is in hurt or in need or in my presence, but also listen to what the Holy Spirit is doing. So, confessional here right now. I love a good romance movie or novel. I'm a sucker for Hallmark movies. I love them. Jason teases me because he's like, you know what's going to happen at the end. You know they're going to fall in love and all's going to be right. And yes, and I think that's what I like is I want to see those relationships turn out good. I want to see something beautiful happen. And so I'm waiting for how it's going to happen and how it's going to unfold. Well, I'm currently reading a Christian romance novel right now, or I'm listening to it through audiobook, and I'm not finished, but it's about this woman who, as atheist, she doesn't believe in God, but she's taken a job at a church. And so it's you can kind of predict, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can kind of predict that hopefully she'll come to meet Jesus by the end of the novel, right? That's kind of where we're working towards. But as she's discovering things and as she is working into this new life of working at a church, although she doesn't believe in the God that the people around her believe in, she's soaking so many things in. She's becoming very observant. She is watching the way they interact with each other. She's watching that the people in the church have hurt too. And she always had kind of idolized ministers and other people that work in the church, but she's realizing, no, they have pain too. They go through their own experiences that mean something. She is observing quietly without having the conversations yet. She's looking at what it means to follow Christ. So I wonder if in the way we live, without using so many words, people might see Jesus through our lives. People might see that we are living the gospel and we're preaching the gospel with the way we love each other, with the things that we do for each other. That's my question today. That's my question. Do we use too many words? Do we need to sit back and see what other things we can be doing to love our neighbors without so many words? That's something to think about. Talk less, smile more. We hope that you have a great week. And if you want to text, if you have anything to pray for, anything that's on your mind, please put that in the comments below. Or you're welcome to join us on our free conference call line where we're going now to offer some prayers for one another. That number is 563-999-1222. We want to be in prayer with you throughout this week. Have a great, great week.